Hey and welcome back to my channel. So you may have heard of something called the compound effect before, but have you considered the real impact it could have on your life, and in particular your investments? If you find this video useful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help this video reach more people. If you're new to my channel, I create content about personal finance, investing, budgeting and money management. After I started my journey within personal finance, I realised that a lot of people, including me, just weren't exposed to the sort of information that I'm trying to get out there. My mission is to give out information about personal finance that can be useful to people so that they can get their finances in order. Once you've finished watching this video, make sure to go back and check out some other videos that I've done. So let's start with the definition of the compound effect. The author of the book, The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy, defines the compound effect as the principle of reaping huge rewards with a series of small, smart choices made consistently over a long period of time. It's important to know that compounding really does need time to work, which is boring. People want results and they want it now. This goes for most things, not just your money. We live in a world of instant gratification. Technology allows us to get whatever we want at a click of a button. The problem though with instant gratification is that the feeling of happiness fades very quickly. Things that are worth having take time to get. To relate that to your finances, you need to build wealth over time to allow for the sufficient habits and mindset to set in. Gradually over time, learning to manage money correctly will put you in good stead for when large sums of money are sitting there in your bank account. There's a reason why celebrities or lottery winners that come into huge amounts of money mismanage it and then go bankrupt before you know it. Most of them just haven't learned to manage money in a scalable way. When you learn to manage money when you don't have much of it, you actually learn the true value of money. If good money principles are learned and practiced, you'll begin to direct it where you get the most value out of your money. So how can we harness the power of habit? The power of compound interest is incredible. It can be utilised to improve your life in almost any way. And this can be done by harnessing your habits. This is something we tell ourselves every New Year's Day that we're going to do. We promise ourselves that we're going to eat more healthily, we're going to exercise more, we're going to read more and we're going to save more money. Most people fail because rather than changing small habits, they completely cut out carbs, they wake up at 5 in the morning, or they try and read a whole book in a day. Big jumps often lead to failure. By tricking yourself into doing seemingly insignificant tasks, they can get you on track to a much bigger goal. Take reading for example. According to a recent YouGov study, the average person reads 4 books a year, which I think is skewed by avid readers. But let's say you make it your goal to read 4 books a year. The average book is about 300 pages long. So to read 4 books, you're going to need to read 1,200 pages a year. So now we can work out what you need to read every day by dividing 1,200 by 365, which is 3.2. So all you need to do is read 3.2 pages a day to hit your goal. You can do that in about 5 minutes before you go to bed. So when you break down these big goals into smaller chunks, it makes it seem manageable. And this is the compound effect in action. The big barrier here though is how do you force yourself to read just 3.2 pages per day? You need to change your habits. You could do something like leave your book or Kindle by your bedside as a cue for whenever you get into bed to make sure you read. Oh yeah, and turn your phone upside down. Set a goal. Work backwards to understand what you need to do to reach it, down to the micro level. You need to make a series of good decisions. Now unfortunately, this effect works both ways. Not just positively, but also negatively. That means by making a series of poor decisions, that's going to compound over time and you're going to find yourself in a dire situation. Now this is true for your health, your mental state, but also your finances. This is the power of habit, so you're going to need to harness it. So now we know a little bit about the compound effect. How can we use this with our finances? Well, here enters the power of compound interest. Albert Einstein was certainly a fan of compound interest, as he called it the 8th wonder of the world, and even said it's the most powerful force in the universe. So compound interest is pretty simple. It's where your money makes interest, then you make more interest on top of the original money and that interest, and then you make more interest upon that interest, and so on. You get the idea. To illustrate the power of compound interest, let's take a look at an example of 2 twin brothers, Ben and Tom. At age 25, Ben decides to save and invest £2,000 a year, just over £166 a month. He does this until age 35 and stops investing completely, but leaves his money where it is and does not touch it. Over this time period, he invested £20,000. Ben's money is invested in index funds inside Stocks and Shares ISA, where he averages about 7% return. At age 60, Ben has a total of £234,000 £46.75. At age 35, Ben's twin brother Tom finds out that Ben's been investing and suddenly realises he should probably put some money away for his future too. He begins investing the exact same amount from age 35 until he retires at 65. Tom puts away £2,000 a year, about £166 a month, and over this 30-year period he actually invests £59,976. That's £40,000 more than Ben. So at age 65, Tom has a total of £203,247.17. That's more than £30,000 less than Ben. Now this example shows you the importance of starting to invest younger and how time grows money even if you invest less money. Take a look at this graph to show you how compound interest begins to exponentially increase over time. As time goes on, the interest you've accrued does all the legwork for you. A good rule of thumb to know is the rule of 72, which is used in mathematics to calculate exponential growth, which is how compound interest works. This rule can be used to establish how many years it will take you to double your money. Think of it as a shortcut. Basically, all you need to do is divide 72 by the expected interest rate. If you expect to make 7% per year, which is about what people would expect you to do if you're an aggressive investor. So all you need to do is divide 72 by 7, which gives you 10.2 years to double your money. So let's talk about financial habits. So now we know compound interest needs time, and we know that people generally are not great at being consistent at doing things they know they need to do. We need to instill good habits in ourselves to make sure we take advantage of compound interest. Just like leaving your Kindle next to your bed at night that prompts you to read, you need to come up with some tricks that are going to help you with your money. For me, there were 3 tricks that I used to help me get into the habit of investing without even needing to think about it. Firstly, you need to know your numbers. Before you begin investing and making the most of compound interest, you need to know what you can afford to invest. This means doing a budget every single month. This means assigning your money a task every single pound. By doing this, not only will you feel in control of your money, but you'll feel like you've had a pay rise. So I aim to invest 10 to 20% of my gross salary every single month, or any money that comes my way. You need to find out what number works for you and feels right. Everybody's different. Check out the compound interest calculator that I've left a link to in the comment section below. I use this calculator all the time just to make sure that I'm on track for my goals. So you need to automate your payments. I invest every month without fail into index funds inside a stocks and shares ISA with the Vanguard platform. Check out the link above to my video about how to set up a Vanguard platform account if you're interested. So I've set up an automatic payment just like the rest of my bills to leave my account on or near to payday. This takes out the friction and emotion of parting with my money. I'm never going to stop this payment. In fact, all I'm going to do is try and increase it over time as my salary increases. You need to set goals. As I've already mentioned, you need to set a goal and work backwards. Setting goals and reviewing them regularly will keep you on the right track. On the days that you feel like you want to give up, and I promise you, you're going to have them, you can look at your goals and remind yourself how far you've come along the way. A big one for me is you need a why. It should be crystal clear in your mind and it needs to be emotional. The reason why it needs to be emotional is that this is going to fire you up. One of my financial goals is to change my family tree when it comes to money. I want my daughter to understand money and invest from a young age. My hope is, by doing this, the generations to come after my daughter, nobody will be living paycheck to paycheck like I've had to experience, and my parents' parents. The truth is, my mission isn't to be filthy rich. It really isn't. However, I've come to learn that money gives you options, and with options you can choose what you really want to do with your life, rather than being forced into a corner and doing something you don't want to do. Whatever your goal is, whether it's to be a millionaire, to pay off your mortgage, or to go on 2 holidays a year, make it truly clear and write it down somewhere that you can see it all the time. So to conclude, the best time to invest was 10 years ago, but we can't do that, so start today. Compound interest needs time, so don't delay it. Compound interest is your friend. It's going to help you build wealth over time. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe to get more content about personal finance and to get some practical ways to get your financial life in order. If you felt the benefits of compounding in any way, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below.